Well, I guess Operation Antique Farming is a go. This video is brought to you by Ravenscraft Realty of Northeast Missouri. I'll start out this video just like the last three. We're gonna check on the March bean experiment and see if they're alive or not alive. Oh boy. I'm the first one in the county with beans up. We got some more. So there are signs of life out here.
Well, probably in the video from last week, I talked about the emissions problems we were having with that 9.510. So we decided to solve the problems, but you can see they're a little different. This is a 9.520 RX. It's over here on the side of Sugar's lot. Someone had bought it for tax purposes, and I guess we're buying it. I believe currently the plan will be to figure out the 510, and we're gonna one of our tractors is gonna have to go. Just haven't decided for sure which one. And we've got the bar all unhooked, and you can hear it. Another part regen. We gotta figure it out. And it took a little bit to get everything all hooked up. Get all the screens going like I want them. But we're going with it. Pulls a little bit easier than the 510 did, but not by much. We're in the big field here by the interstate. Pretty good running. Going through the tanks pretty quick in this kind of field. Should finish it off tomorrow, but guess what? Calling for rain on Wednesday, so we'll get our 2 days in between rains. We'll have to wait for a while and let it dry out again and get another couple days in. One thing that is much better, I forget where to look. One thing much better about this tractor is the lights. They're really bright. 510's not bad, but this is a lot better. April 19th, gonna plant some beans. Not our usual way of doing things. We almost always plant all the corn first. But still, so far, our new corn planter, not here yet. No one seems to know for sure where it's at. So, we got some ground we ran over last fall with the Salford. Gonna go ahead and just plant right into this piece here and spray it later. Just some winter annual kind of stuff. It'll be pretty easy to get rid of. So it begins today. And it's taken a while, but finally got everything lined out, I think. Always gotta get that first day out of the way. Never as productive as you'd like it to be, but that's kind of how it goes. Actually got dust flying. Pretty good drying kind of ground. Got a few wetter areas in the field, but otherwise going pretty good. So day one will be complete after a while. Well, first nighttime fill up only went okay. The remote on the seed tender has too many buttons. I hit the wrong one and moved the conveyor over instead of up. So I'm feeding the turkeys, I guess. Well, today's Thursday, which means we had our required rain on Wednesday. Yeah, about an inch. So no field work today, obviously. A little bit of shop work. Got to haul some corn here today, tomorrow. Chance of rain again tonight, tomorrow morning, again Sunday. So yes, it's a very late start to the spring. Back in the 9.510R. No more flashing lights. The exhaust filter was pretty well plugged up. So now we're back in good shape. Hopefully no more issues.
Man, some hunting dog you are. Well, the puppy dog and I spent some quality time walking around the pond and out in the field, oohing and awing at the sunset. And Dad fired up the 8R370 and he's actually going to hook it up to our old corn planter because I have some bad news. So the bad news with the planter is that we found out where it is. It was supposed to be here like 2 weeks ago. It's sitting at the factory waiting on some wires. Great! I love technology. But there's a reason we kept our old planter, and it's because we weren't sure if the new one was going to show up on time or not. And looking back, we made the right decision. I think Dad forgot how to back up the tractor. Okay, he did get it. Now I gotta flip these things up and we're gonna take it over to the shop. There's several different components here that are not present on the old John Deere 7000. Mainly the giant bundle of wires that goes back to every single row unit on the planter. And the like 5 hydraulic outlets that you need to run it. And the case drain and the load sense and the return lines. Oh boy, my dad's letting me drive the tractor. Ooh, I'm so special. Yeah, this one's really neat. Swag. We have a leak. Oh man, this looks about like the lights on my 4020. Except much larger planter and, I don't know, a cab. Oh, this is the aftermath of our little oil seepage issue we had here. So what happened was we didn't have one of the hoses in for the return all the way, and yeah, a little frustrating, but it is what it is. It's a nice day outside. Unfortunately, it's kind of windy, so that made mowing Grandpa's yard and the old house that I'm at sometimes, that made that kind of difficult. But I saw Dad drive the 9520 RX and the Kelly Diamond Harrow down the road earlier. So I'm gonna give him a call and see what's going on. I might be able to go do some actual field work today. And if the forecast improves, I would like to plant this 6-acre field here with the 4020, which is back in that barn there behind the field cultivator and the 4320. But like we've discussed before, this is all weather dependent, just like everything within farming. So all I can do is cross my fingers and say a little prayer and hope for the best.
Working some ground with Kelly Diamond Harrow. I'm gonna try to plant this field here this afternoon. I'm hoping to just be able to go ahead and no-till it. It's got a few places, just a little on the damp side, so I'm gonna open it up, air it out, plus get rid of the weeds. Got it on the original 9520R. Handled it just fine, of course. Pulling it almost 10 mile an hour and 1900 RPM. This thing pulls pretty easy. Kind of hard to tell, but it does leave a nice smooth seed bed. Do a good job of turning the weeds out too.
All right, here's the updated plan. I'm gonna take the 4320, which I am sitting on right now. I'm gonna take this field cultivator. I'm gonna go out in that field. Then I'm gonna scratch around and see if it might maybe dry out, kind of, so that I can use this tractor and the planter to plant the 6 acres. Now, Dad is in town, and I may need to help him get the planter up there and everything and get going. But I'll wait until the phone call comes. And yeah, it's kind of windy. Well, the good news is 4320 pulls field cultivator. The bad news is it's still a touch on the wet side, so we're gonna park it for now. What the heck, we'll just set it in the ground so you can hear the tractor work. Alright, I know what I said just like a moment ago, but Grandpa came out and looked at the ground I brought up, and he says it'd probably go ahead and plant just fine. So we're gonna send it. for better or for worse, I mean, it's only 6 acres, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal to redo if I had to redo it again. But beans are they're pretty tough coming up and whatnot, so crossing the fingers here. Honestly, it's going pretty well so far. I haven't broken anything yet, knock on metal, so hopefully we don't break anything. All right, note to self, 2-wheel drive tractor plus 3 front tires plus wet equals you don't steer anymore. Noted. Well, this is what it looks like after it sits for a little while, and shoot, a couple hours, I'm gonna be ready to go. Unfortunately, there's some wet spots out here north of the barn, like that one and that one. The real boss stopped by and he said, it looks okay. It's strictly okay though. It's not super awesome or fantastic, but I did it, so I'm gonna plant it now and you know, hope for the best, I guess, maybe. But I'm gonna let it sit for an hour or two. I'm gonna go ride with Dad up in town. We have some ground that's a lot better drying than this stuff down here. And it's a pretty uncommon soil type in Marion County. So I'll take you guys up there. But first, I'm gonna start this up and pull it out of the shed and make sure I have an adequate amount of seed, and then we're gonna get going. And there's Dad's planting rig and my planting rig. There's a slight cost difference between them, and there's also a little bit of newness factored in there, but you know. Well, this is the first time I've ever had to put fuel in this tractor. I'm just using what's left over in Dad's truck tank, and then there's our new seed tender. All right, I got fuel, got seeds, so I should be good to plant. That's doing an excellent job of closing. Like I said before, this ground dries really, really well, so we can get away with doing this right before rain. Well, we had to scratch the itch, so I guess we're planting for better or for worse, right?
It'll be all right. Maybe.
Well, this is good drying ground, so hopefully we can get away without having the supposed rain tonight hurting us. I just hope my not so great drying ground that I planted with 40-20 in the 6th row is also going to be okay. But there's a high likelihood that it won't. We're having some problems with the section control and shutoffs, and now we're just checking it out and making sure the adjustments that we put into the computer are doing what they're supposed to. Now the way you do this is you come to your last row and then you dig where you're planting, coming into the end row, and if you still have seed at the last row, you're doing good. Well, the adjustments seem to be working. So when you have a split row planter like this, rows are different lengths apart depending upon whether it's in the front or in the back. And you want to try to get your section control set to where it shuts them off when it's halfway in between the front row and the back row, so that way you're not doubling up or leaving a big gap. Well, without any further ado, we're gonna plant. All right, this is it. Planter's in the ground, you got seed, markers are down, monitor is on. I'm ready. I've about got my end rows wrapped up. I did 4 passes, or 24 end rows, 6-row planter. I just want to make sure I have enough room to turn around with a longer tractor and all. But I'm about to get into some long rows and some wet spots back there by the old barn. So, I don't know how I feel about that. Well, to video some of this special experience, I had to call in reinforcements, which is code for my sister. So she's gonna video and I'm gonna plant. I got my end rows knocked out and the long rows, well, there's only a couple long rows over there, but there's 2 wet spots that I had to kind of crawl through, but gosh. I thought for sure I wasn't gonna get out of one of them. My front tires quit spinning and my rear tires were spinning and I was not moving. So I was pretty certain I was stuck, but I guess I wasn't. I wanted to get a second perspective from this planting thing, so I'm gonna have my sister video for you. So I hope you enjoy it. I don't think she's too bad at videoing, but she certainly knows me. Yeah, this is the aftermath of the wet spot. Got some sticky dirt here on the platform. Well, I'm kind of done the first time, and I have bad news because unfortunately I ran out of seed in the last 2 or 3 short rows over here, and gotta go get more. So yay. The old CompuTrack 150 monitor kind of let me down today. Well, I dug around with a little seed tool to see if I could find where I ran out of seed, and I'm pretty sure I found it. So I'm gonna double plant a little bit of places, but I'd rather have double planted than 0 plants. Darn monitor. Oh well. All right, that concludes the planting activities for today. I'm gonna park the 4020 planter, and then I'm gonna get the 4320 and the cultivator and pull that in the shed as well. It appears as if we have a leak on injector number 1, 2, 3, maybe 2. I don't know. Gonna have to address that though. Okay, 4320 is parked. I think it's time for supper since it's about 7:15 or thereabouts. Today was a heck of a day. We had several ups and downs. One of them took place right here. I thought I was not getting out of that one, and I had to skip like 40 feet times 15, so however many square feet that is right there, because I obviously was not going to plant that because it was mud and I would have had mud all up in the seed tubes, gauge wheels, all that. So you know what, I think when it's a dry spell, I'll just go back there and set the planter down and plant some more beans. Oh goodness. And while we're still out and about today, I'm gonna check on the beans because there should be some of them up and out of the ground today. Oh, I see some. Look at that. They called me a madman. Now I just hope it doesn't freeze and murder all of them. Mo power, mo better. Just putting a power chip on the 9520RX. This is the new one. We just need a few more ponies for pulling whatever it is we are gonna pull with it. Besides, no one ever had too much horsepower, right? Given it's late afternoon on a Sunday, I'm sure you can guess that the video is probably about over. But we haven't said goodbye to the dog yet. Oh, don't look so sad. I almost forgot my sunscreen. For someone with red hair and fair skin, it's a must-have. Well, honestly, it's been quite a weekend. We got about 60 acres of beans planted. We got about 60 acres of ground worked. We worked on the corn planter a little bit last night. and mowed 2 yards. So I'm feeling pretty accomplished this week. So if you enjoyed what you saw in this video, you should subscribe, like the video as well. If you have a question, put it down in the comments. I'm a relatively open book. And show it to one of your friends that likes farming, or your grandparents, because it's likely that your grandparents may have used the same equipment that I used in this video. And we got a new tractor too, the 9520 RX, so yay me, I guess. That's all I got for you on this video, so y'all take care, and I'll see you on the next one.